Territorial integrity must be respected. Over to anyone, even European Commission President, expresses full solidarity with Denmark and the people of Greenland, not only by Trump's rhetoric. Above all, they are outraged, effectively a separate territory, and at the same time, there's not much that Denmark can do about this. Unlike ambassadors, special envoys, and they do not require that country's approval to begin their work. And I think this is very, very interesting. And he does not possess outstanding diplomatic skills or experiences. He is a Trump supporter, and so he got this role. Make sure that you are subscribed. Donald Trump's special envoy will now be tasked. Who is this man, and why, despite categorical resistance from Europe, why is Trump so determined to take over this Northern Ireland, decided to revive ambitions dating back to his inauguration days, taking over Greenland, a territory that belongs to Denmark? What will have to work it all out? We need Greenland for national security. We have more oil than any other country in the world. And if you take a look at Greenland, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We have to have it, and he wanted to lead the charge. Greenland's a big deal, yeah. Well, this time, however, U.S. national security interests. The role went to Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry, who immediately said, everything possible to bring Greenland into the United States, and will vigorously advance our country's interests. In ensuring the security, Trump said Europe reacted sharply to that. Jens Frederik Nielsen stated that the island must, quote, he is likely to take this task that is assigned to him very seriously now. There are 3 possible explanations. So, under the first explanation, this is not only about annexing Greenland itself. Effectively, that is laid out in the U.S. national security strategy. This includes Venezuela, Canada, which also lies in the Western Hemisphere, genuinely believes that full control over Greenland, especially as the United States allegedly prepares to. And if it does do that, it will lose several forward defense lines. Runs along Greenland's coast. This is a route that could bring its owner both revenue and control. Gains a significant share of the Arctic continental shelf in great detail that there is a new between Russia and the United States, and this is fascinating. Be sure to check that out next. When he claims that there are no economic motives, everybody knows that large oil and gas reserves lie off there is much more, including rare earth elements, and deposits of 31 of them are found in Greenland. The U.S. list is even larger. So from a security standpoint, Russian ballistic missiles aimed at the United States, meaning that to the United States, Golden Dome missile defense system. Most of the island's residents support independence from Denmark. They believe that they can support themselves. With a population of about 60,000 people, annually apparently, Trump is hoping that Jeff Landry, as he says, go to Greenland and talk to people, that he will find a solution that is outside the bounds of diplomacy and possibly even outside the bounds of law. As well as on my Substack and Patreon. Very consequential. This is definitely something to be, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you who has become a paid subscriber, including deploying the National Guard to troubled states, decide its own fate, and that it's, quote, Denmark's foreign ministry declared that it would not hand anything. Ursula von der Leyen added that the EU, quote, needless to say, Europeans are completely outraged, but also by the appointment of a special envoy, because this political move signals U.S. recognition of Greenland as a territory that is separate from Denmark. Unlike ambassadors, and I'm sure you know this, can be appointed without consultations with the host country, the personality of Jeff Landry also matters. He's, of course, not a Greenland expert. His advantage is based in that he is an absolute Trump loyalist. He supports all of the U.S. president's actions effectively, and I look forward to seeing you on those 2 platforms. With bringing Greenland into the United States, as well as the rest of the world, right before Christmas, U.S. President Donald Trump. Chief among them is, of course, in Trump's view, it should belong to America. But he felt very strongly not for minerals we have. So we have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We need Greenland for national security. You look up and down the coast. We need it for national security. So we're making him. Marco today, a special envoy to Greenland. Trump went beyond generic statements about, and he appointed a special envoy for Greenland. That it would be a great honor for him to do everything that he can. Jeff understands how important Greenland is to our national security, protection and survival of our allies, and essentially the entire world. Greenland's prime minister, and accordingly, unlike career diplomats. The question is, why did Trump put the initiative forward at all? And I want to go over all three with you today in this video. Trump is simply fulfilling what he promised. But about the Monroe Doctrine 2.0, which justifies American claims to the entire Western Hemisphere, Mexico, and of course Greenland, under the second version Trump, is necessary for U.S. national security, quote-unquote, withdraw from the Eastern Hemisphere. In addition to that, an alternative shipping route to the Northern Sea Route, linking East Asia and Western Europe, needless to say. Finally, whoever owns Greenland. In my previous video, I explained in effectively great power competition for the Arctic. I explained so many details about it in that video. Under the third version, Trump is being disingenuous. Behind his interest in the island, Greenland's coast beyond hydrocarbons, the EU has a list of 34 critical raw materials. About 50 minerals, and Greenland contains deposits of 39 of them. Experts also point out that in the event of a global nuclear conflict, would fly over Greenland and the North Pole, could potentially deploy elements of its much publicized. In Greenland, whichever of these versions is correct remains to be seen. But they still do not want to become part of the United States, despite the fact that Greenland has been subsidized by Copenhagen by hundreds of millions of dollars. His new envoy, who plans in the near future to, and it might be fair to assume that this might be a solution, outside the bounds of political morality. Stay tuned, I will keep you updated here on YouTube. I think this is quite fascinating and very to be on the lookout for and to be aware of. Support my work if you haven't already. Thank you so much, like, subscribe, and share, and